Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to make this adorable 3D butterfly applique. They are really simple to make and they only use the double crochet stitch. I am going to show you how to make two different sizes. The pattern for both are really similar. They start off in the exact same way and also the bodies are the same. However, the smaller one needs only 2 rounds while the larger one needs 3. So let's get started. Here I am using a 4-ply yarn and with it I am using a 4mm crochet hook. Start by making a slip knot. Then chain 5. To chain, simply yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Do this 5 times. Then slip stitch into the first chain to join and this will form a ring that we are going to work into. Then for round 1, start with a chain 3. This will act as your first double crochet. Then we are going to make a double crochet into this ring. For a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2, and that finishes 1 double crochet. Then chain 2 as a spacer and then we are going to make 2 more double crochets into the ring. Then again chain 2. We are going to continue to make 2 double crochet, chain 2 6 more times for a total of 8 2 double crochet clusters and 8 chain 2 spaces. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I finished making the 8 2 double crochet clusters and 8 chain 2 spaces. Now I am going to slip stitch on top of the third chain of the first chain 3 to join, and this brings us to the end of round 1. Now we are done with our first color of yarn, so chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. For round 2 of the smaller applique, bring in your second color yarn, wrap your yarn on your crochet hook like so, and then join with a slip stitch into any one of the chain 2 spaces of the previous round. Bring that yarn tail to the back because we are going to work over it. Then chain 3 to start. This will act as your first double crochet. Then working over that tail, make 5 more double crochets into this chain 2 space for a total of 6 double crochets including that first chain 3. Then we are going to make a slip stitch in between these 2 double crochets like so. Then into the next chain 2 space again make 6 double crochets, making sure to work over this tail. Here I finished making the 6 double crochets, then slip stitch in between those 2 double crochets of the previous round to join. Continue to make 6 double crochets into each and every one of these chain 2 spaces of the previous round with slip stitches in between. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I finished making all 8 6 double crochet petals and have slip stitch in between the last 2 double crochets. Then slip stitch on top of the third chain of the first chain 3 to join, And this brings us to the end of round 2, which is the last round for the smaller butterfly applique. Now all we have to do is fold this piece in half and then make the body of the butterfly. For that you can jump to this timestamp. Next I'm going to show you the second and third rounds of the larger butterfly applique. For that, join your new color into any one of the chain 2 spaces of round 1 in the same way as before. Then chain 3, this will act as your first double crochet. Then bring that yarn tail to the back, we are going to work over it. Into that same chain 2 space, make 1 double crochet. Then chain 2 and then 2 more double crochets into the same chain 2 space. Into the next chain 2 space, make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. This is what we call a shell. Now continue to make a shell into each of the chain 2 spaces all the way around. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I finished making all 8 shells. Now slip stitch into the third chain of the first chain 3 to join, and this brings us to the end of round 2 for the larger applique. Now we are done with the second color yarn, so chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. For round 3, bring in your third color yarn and join it in the exact same way into any one of the chain 2 spaces of the previous round. Chain 3 to start. This will act as the first double crochet. Then bring that yarn tail to the back and work over it. Into the same chain 2 space, we are going to make 7 more double crochets for a total of 8 double crochets, including that first chain 3. Then slip stitch in between the 2 shells to join. In the next chain 2 space, make 8 double crochets. Again slip stitch in the space between the 2 shells. Continue to make 8 double crochets into each of the chain 2 spaces all the way around and make slip stitches in between the 2 shells. Here I am almost at the end of round 3. Slip stitch into the third chain of the first chain 3 to join. Now fold this piece in half, making sure that where we ended is at the bottom. Next we are going to move on to the body of the butterfly. For that, make a chain that is long enough to wrap around the body. For the larger ones, it's around 13 chains for me, and for the smaller one, it's around 10. Then wrap this chain around the body and slip stitch into the first chain we made to join. Then chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. To weave in the tail, I am using a smaller crochet hook. Bring that yarn tail to the back and weave it under a couple of stitches. For the antennae, take a small length of yarn and then bring it under that chain that we made for the body on top. Then tie a couple of knots with this yarn to make it look like the head of the butterfly. Then for the antennae, we are going to make one knot on each of these two strands. Here you have to decide how long you want your antennae to be and make the knots accordingly. While making the knot on the second strand, make sure that the two antennae are even. For that, make a knot loosely at first and then you can maneuver that knot up and down a little bit until you have the position correct and then tighten it. Then you can go ahead and cut the excess yarn quite close to the knots. And that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.